So this worked out perfect for me. I'll tell you. I'm going. Well, first of all, funny thing, it brought me right here. So this time, I guess the Uber app worked because it did. It stopped right at. It takes them further down.
Yeah.
So this is the country, dude. Holy moly!
Yeah.
You are in the country.
Yeah, I'm a tow truck operator, so like
You could be anywhere.
Yeah, whenever I used to like live in apartment complexes, they used to vandalize my tow truck.
Yeah, no, you're better off if you're doing what I always think. If you make your living with a big, heavy mobile asset, move out to the country.
Yeah.
So like if you're a tow truck driver, if you operate a big rig, tractor, trailer, any of that sort of stuff, get out in the country. First of all, cost of living's a lot cheaper. You have a lot more room.
Out here, I pay $750.
Yeah, and out here, if some meth head's gonna come try to vandalize you, well, God bless him. I mean, he's really making an effort, right? I mean, if a meth head makes his way all the way out here,
exactly.
he's actually got there's some hope there. You know what I mean? It's like, holy moly, you made it out here, dude. Well, we can get you off meth if you're able to do that. But no, it worked out good for me because I'm actually from Houston. So I went ahead and drove a kid up to College Station. I guess Texas A&M student. Drove a kid up here to College Station, and I was sitting there charging at the Tesla supercharger and getting charged up. And as soon as I finished,
right there on Texas Avenue.
you know what? It's right by a barbecue spot that was closed. But I can't. I don't. Here, let me see if I can still pick it. We're going south now, so let me see if I can show you on here. It was. Where was that place? Oh shoot. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong way. It was like, yeah, that's one right here.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's right there by
Cooper's Old Time Barbecue.
Yeah, I didn't know they had a charger. That's right there by.
Yeah, there's two chargers in College Station. I noticed. There's that one, and it's a good one. I mean, it was like fast, but yeah, it worked. And then there's another one over at the HEB.
Yeah, right there on Texas Avenue.
I think that's the first one they had. That's like that used to be, I think, the only Tesla supercharger in College Station. Now they got that one.
Yeah, that's where I take a lot of like the Ford Mustangs, the ones that are electric and all that.
Yeah, the Mach-E's.
Yeah, when they break down.
So you let me ask you this: out of all the EVs, so you got Teslas, which we're in, you got the Ford Mach-E's, the Ford Lightnings. So like, which ones? Well, there's not a lot of Mach-E's or Lightning, so I guess I was going to ask you which one you have to pick up the most, but it's probably going to be Teslas because there's so many more of them.
The ones we really pick up are like the big ones that look like pills, the real big gigantic ones. I think this one's like the slim, longer version one, right?
Oh, this one. Oh, this is the Model 3. Yeah.
Okay, so the ones we pick up are the shorter ones, but the fatter ones on top.
Like Model Ys.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's because there's a lot more of those. So that would make sense. It's not that they're any worse. It's that basically 65 to 70% of all Tesla sold are that Model Y. Oh. So that would make, yeah, basically that is the.
Like, I've been in a lot of Teslas, but
well, I'm sure you have, I've
never been in one that got like the LED lights along the door jambs and stuff.
Yeah. Now this one worked out perfect for me, man, because I was like, I went ahead and gave the kid, he was a kid up here in College Station. He was staying at his sister's. And I was like, I saw the trip and I was like, oh God, it's probably going to be, it was 100 miles up there. And I was like, well, it's probably going to be it was about 90 and from where I was. And I was like, it's probably going to be all dead miles. You know what I mean by dead miles. Probably going to be all dead miles back, but I'll see. Maybe I'll put on, at least Uber will give me the destination filter. Yeah. Right? Because obviously they see I'm going way, way out of the norm. They gave me so I set the destination filter. Once I got done, like literally as soon as I took the charger out, it was like Uber knew I was ready to go, and bam, so let me ask you this. when you booked the Uber, how long did it take before you saw it get accepted?
It was about like, I want to say about 30, 40 seconds.
That's not that.
Yeah, it popped up.
So we
quick.
must have matched up quick then.
Yeah, it hit pretty quick.
So how surprised are you that you got a hit that quick?
I'm surprised because she's been in spring, I want to say since yesterday, so I had to Uber to work. And it took almost 2 to 3 minutes just to get an Uber to go to over there onto Highway 21 in Bryan just to get to work.
Yeah, I would suspect that getting Ubers out in this area, like you can get them, but you got to expect that it may be a while before they get to you. Like it's not going to be.
Yours actually came really, really quick. Like I had people that were like closer.
Our stars aligned, dude.
Yeah, it's like people that were like 7, 8 minutes from me.
Yeah, but they weren't going to
30 minutes to get to me.
Yeah, but they weren't going to take it. A lot of them probably weren't going to take it because for them, if they're local in this area, they're going to probably look at the return trip as a bunch of, so you think about it, if you're an Uber driver and you're taking a trip that's taking you like 90 to 100 miles out of your city center, you're pretty much assuming, hey, you got to assume the worst, that all the miles back are going to be dead miles. So even though the fare's pretty good, you got to like divide it in two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From a miles and rate per hour perspective. But this one worked out great for me because I got that up there. And then really the only dead miles I had were from Texas A&M to here, and that's not far at all.
No, that's actually really close.
Yeah. So this worked out great for me. The stars just aligned, man. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel bad for your wife. I wish she wasn't in the situation she was in, or that y'all were in, and you weren't having to do this.
I got a lot of buddies down there that have tow trucks and stuff like that, but like they're around this time they're busy chasing accident calls.
Oh yeah, this is a busy time for y'all, right?
Yeah, so I called one buddy. He was like, he said, man, I'm all the way over here in North Houston. I was like, ooh. I said, you know what? I said, no, it's fine. I'll Uber down there. He was like, well, if you need to tow back, just let me know, and I'll tow your car back for free and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Okay. But I actually met them like during towing events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, like, we just got like real close. Like sometimes I'll drive all the way to North Houston to a barbecue with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like I've known them longer than I knew my friends that I have now and stuff.
Oh wow.
It's kind of crazy how.
So
where does
for your tow truck? I'm assuming you go into Houston every day.
No, I'm local.
You're local here?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm local here in Bryan.
So you get pretty good business around Bryan College Station as well?
Oh yeah, I went to Conroe today and brought one back, and then I went to actually 2 weeks ago I went all the way to what is it called? It's called Teguina or something like that, over there next to Mexico, right by the border.
Oh really? You went all the way down to the border?
It was called Big Bend or something like that.
Big Bend National Park.
Yeah, I went way out there, picked up a truck.
The big thicket or something like that?
Yeah, I picked up a truck way out there and brought it all the way back to College Station.
I bet you that paid for some groceries.
Oh yeah, that run, I think I charged them $3,800.
I was going to say, charge them whatever the hell you want to.
Yeah.
Like, what else are they going to do, dude?
Well, because I have an account with so I do all their towing.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we billed them, and I drove out there at 11 o'clock in the morning and got back at 8 a.m., 21-hour trip.
Oh, wow.
There and back. They were expecting me to get a hotel. They were going to reimburse me. But I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and drive the whole ride. I'm ready to get home.
Yes, sir.
And I'm only 27 years old, so it's like...
Oh, you're a youngster, man.
Yeah.
And you've already basically got your own business going. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Now, so I'm going to assume that, so you do mostly contract, obviously you do work, but did you say you do mostly contract work? I
actually do a lot of work. Because I kind of figured, like when I towed my first Tesla for the very first time.
Yeah, that's a special thing. It's a different type of thing to tow, right?
They don't have spare tires.
Right. Well, and not just that. the way that you...
And I actually learned a lot because I know on the front bumper, it has a little port that you can pop out. And I learned that
it's like its own little battery.
Yep, I learned that for the first time. It was a dead battery. I hooked my jump box to it. It gave it power. Loaded it up on my flatbed and drove it all the way to Cypress. To the Tesla.
The delivery center. That's where I got my Tesla. Both of them. This is my second one. Both of them I got at the Cypress delivery center.
Yeah, see, man. I learned a lot when it came to Tesla. I didn't really, but the Cybertrucks, I told one for the first time that it gave me hell. It really
did.
That sucker was so heavy.
Oh yeah.
I had it on my flatbed, and I got a 2018 F650 flatbed with airbag suspension.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
F650.
Yeah, and it had the air ride.
And you were still having fits with the Cybertruck.
Like, I could feel that truck back there. Usually I don't feel nothing when I'm hauling it, but that Cybertruck, that I felt it all the way to Cypress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you gotten a chance to drive one of the Cybertrucks yet?
Yeah, I did.
Did you like it?
Oh, yes. But I'm more scared of, like, the self-driving than anything.
Well, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I kind of saw the stairwell turn. I was like, man.
Yeah, we've been, this car's been driving us since we left. In fact, I turned it on in your driveway. It got us out of that gravel driveway.
Oh, man.
Literally, I turned on FSD right in front of your house. I have not done a thing since we left the front of your house, dude.
Oh, man.
You didn't know that?
Uh-uh.
I guess I shouldn't have said nothing.
See, the one truck I'm waiting on is the
But you don't have to do FSD, you know that. You can drive it manually. A lot of people, in fact, most people that have the Cybertruck, they prefer to drive it manually because it's so fun. With the steer-by-wire and all that.
Yeah. See, my mother-in-law, she has one, but she has one of the...
Oh, she's got a Cybertruck.
No, she has a Tesla.
Oh.
But it's a... I think it's a Y. No, it's not a Y. It's a...
Is it? So it's not this. It's not a Model Y. It's not a Model 3. This is a Model 3, so it's not this.
Tesla she has.
So she's probably got a Model X.
Like you can sit two people in the trunk. It looks like.
Yeah, it's either a Model X or S. So let me tell you the two. So the Model X kind of looks a little bit like the Model Y, but bigger.
Yeah, but
it's like got that pill shape a little bit as well. Yeah, so and it's got the Falcon wings.
Yeah. And hers, for some reason, like you can sit three people in this seat, and then for some reason in the back it has two extra seats.
Yep.
They're facing the opposite direction.
That's a Model X.
Okay. Yeah, she put my boys back there, and I was riding behind them. And I was looking. I was like, why are my boys still looking at me? And then I caught her. She was like, oh, they're in the seats. I was like, oh, well, that's new to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that Model X is basically what Tesla has done so far. They've basically got 5 production vehicles right now. So there's this one. This is the Model 3. This is your basic 4-door sedan. So this is supposed to be like, you know, your BMW 3 Series, Mercedes E-Class, like, you know, shit, you can even throw in the Chevy Malibu, I guess, you know, your basic 4-door sedan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, though, you know, the Tesla Model 3 has way more, you know, computer and hardware and software than any of those. It's, you know, it's basically a computer on wheels, right? But if we're just talking about the physical nature of it, the chassis, the body, all of that sort of stuff, this is just your basic 4-door sedan, the Model 3. Then you get the Model Y. That's supposed to be Tesla's version of like the crossover SUV. So like the in-betweener. So like the Nissan Rogue, the Toyota Rave, whatever the hell, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, and you know, I'll tell you, from the outside, it doesn't look like it. Like when you look at a Model Y, you're like, there's no way that thing's a car. But when you get inside the thing, you're like, oh, damn, this does have a lot of room. It's deceptively big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same thing with the Model X. The Model X from the outside, it looks bigger than the Model Y, but it does not look like a not full, I would say mid-size SUV. It doesn't look, but when you get inside of a Model X, that thing is cavernous. It's huge. And then so you got the Model 3, which we're in right now. The Model Y, you know all about it. That's Tesla's version of the crossover.
Yeah.
The Model X, which your mother-in-law has, that's basically Tesla's answer to, I would say, the mid-size SUV. I don't think Tesla currently has an answer to the large SUV, like the 3. I guess the Model X has 3 rows technically, and then there's the Model S. I don't know if you've seen one of those. That's kind of supposed to be like the luxury sedan.
Okay, yeah.
It's like the same, almost very similar body size as the 3, but not much, but bigger and a little fancier.
See, I towed one of those before for a flat tire.
Yeah.
And then I towed one where the whole front, on both sides, the suspension was gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That one gave me a head because I was trying to put it in tow mode, but I don't know, it was giving me a lot.
Yeah, it's just a bit. Teslas are they're a bit different when it comes to towing. It's a little bit different.
My wife's car, she has a BMW 5 or X5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I like it, but the one I'm waiting on is the new Excursions. They're supposed to be coming out before.
Oh, we got a little bit of fog here. Money. That fog's coming in.
Yeah, I don't know how you trust this thing driving.
I've got tens of thousands of miles behind the wheel with it, and I'm right here. I can take over at any time. How you like it so far?
I love it. My mother-in-law's been trying to convince me to get one. I'm like, I'm so used to putting gas, I might let the thing die.
You know what? Hey, at the end of the day, this is what would be great for you, because you're obviously a gearhead. Dude, you're a tow truck driver.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much more gearhead than that, right? You obviously, you take what a regular gearhead knows and you put that on steroids, right? You know more about cars than any of the quote-unquote gearheads, whatever. You've forgotten more about mechanics, cars, than a lot of gearheads have ever learned. So I get that. What I always tell guys like you, like real gearheads, like dudes that, hey, no matter what, like they may respect the Tesla, they love the acceleration, they even might like some of the tech and everything like that. But at the end of the day, they're just, just got not scared of it, like from a range anxiety thing and charging up. But they just don't know if it's their cup of tea or not. What I always tell them to do, dude, you don't even need to go.
That was weird.
What was weird? It just changed lanes. Well, if I was driving, I would have changed lanes, right? See, I'm telling you, baby, Tesla FSD.
Seeing my mother-in-law,
Elon's cooking it up, baby. Elon's cooking it up.
My mother-in-law would not let me drive hers because she knows I'm like, because when it, like I try to explain to my mom, like she wants me to get like a real fancy, like not a fancy house, but a big enough house for me and my kids and my wife. And like I told her, I said, well, I learned from my dad, don't ever show your worth. So I'm comfortable where I live. Yeah. Like it's half.
Well, that's nothing wrong. Your place was nice, man. That's out. You're out in the country.
See, and I try to explain that to people because they're like, man, like you make a lot of money, this and that. I say, yeah, but
you're saving a lot of it.
I'm young, but I don't have a mindset like a young kid. How they blow money and put themselves in debt and all that. And I'm like, I'm not that type of person. I learned a lot once I had my first 2 little boys. Yeah. And I'm like, You're doing the smart thing. Don't listen to anybody. Anybody that tells you ought to be doing this or you ought to be doing that. Buddy was telling me, he was like, you drive a 09 Chrysler. I was like, yeah. But then again, I showed him the paperwork to my tow truck.
So I was going to say,
I'm like, I invest in a business, not.
That's right.
And so,
I
started doing it when I was 24 years old. So I've been doing it for 3 years, and I
love it.
Did
you what got you into tow truck driving?
Operation Repo
So-
on YouTube.
Oh.
That's what actually got me into it. And
Is that like a YouTube channel?
yeah, it's like
You just got interested in
it's
it
like
from.
a MTV type thing where they
They
repos.
repo cars,
Yeah.
dude. So that's a different type of. That's like what's funny? You know what's funny? Because I am. What the hell is this semi doing? He's acting like he's trying to jump the gun, dude. You got a big old trailer behind you, son. Your tractor ain't gonna jump the gun like that. If that tractor's able to jump off quick, I'm impressed. You see him? He was acting like he's trying to jump in front of the ambulance.
Oh no, this is a 2-lane. It got the 2 lanes.
Oh, okay, my bad. I was like, what? There's a dude in a tractor trailer trying to race an ambulance or something. What am I seeing right now? But yeah. So you got interested in it that way. Did you do ride-alongs? I mean, how do you even get? I mean, because that takes a pretty big capital outlay, right, to buy it.
I started when I was 20.
Yeah.
And I started working for a company with a guy that.
Where you lease it or something?
No, like I was just a employee.
You working for a company? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He knew my dad, so he got me in there, and so I started doing that, and he kept. I guess he wanted to see me grow, so he kept convincing me like, hey, buy you a little truck and, start off like that. And I said, that's fine with me, but I don't want to interrupt what y'all got going on, thinking that I'm trying to, take over and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he was like, no, never that. So I was like, okay. So I talked to my wife, and she was like, you know what, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So I went to the bank, and I found a truck, and it was...
Oh, nice.
So my mother-in-law,
Must
my
have
mom,
been used.
Yeah.
Pretty well used.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, my mom, and I pitched in. We paid the cash. I paid them off. And ever since then, it's just been working perfect for me, little by little. So now I got a 2017 F450. I just purchased a new 20.
You got a F450 and 650?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I got a 2024 F550 wheel lift.
Lord have mercy,
extended cab.
son.
I bought that one out there in Alabama, and I drove it back. So yeah, I got 2 wheel lifts and a flatbed.
Man.
And
so you are running a tidy little business.
yeah, it's me and my brother. He's young.
Okay. So you got him working with you?
Yeah, he's 21, so he's like that party type.
Oh, dang.
And trying to give out free toes and
oh
stuff.
shit, yeah, you got to watch out for that
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
showing up late,
Yeah,
and giving out and trying to impress girls by like, hey, I run a business, that sort of shit.
That's what I told him. I was like,
You're not gonna impress. Hey, I'll give you a toe.
I told him, I was like, you're a tow truck driver. They're gonna look at you like you're an enemy because they're thinking that you're trying to.
That's right. When people think it's let's just be blunt. No offense, but when people make. Usually, y'all come along at some of the worst times in people's lives. They're stuck on the side of the road through no fault of your own, but you're there at like some of the worst times in their lives. I mean, tell your little brother that may not be the best way to get.
He gets mad at me because the pricing that I have for Brian in College Station, like I came up with a little business called it's nothing but like for. So it's kind
of like a better deal for them.
Yeah, instead of like an actual $120 tow, it's like a $65 tow. So
that's a good deal, man.
It's a huge discount. So
that's a huge discount.
Yeah, they keep me busy during like summertime and stuff like that when it's slow.
Dude, there's places in downtown Houston you can't even park for $60 a day.
Oh yeah.
Let alone be towed. That's crazy. Well, that's good though. I mean, I get it though, man. You're helping out the college kids who obviously don't have a lot of money.
A few times to pick up a few repos. Like I went to Greens Point. I went to Third Ward. I went to where else did I go? I went over there.
I tell you what,
MLK.
when you Greens Point, all 3 of those places. I'm hoping you're Texas strapped when you're going in.
Oh yeah. I'm licensed and everything.
Good. I was gonna assume, being a tow truck driver, that it's just part of the gig that you got to stay Texas strapped.
Oh yeah. Nah, I kind of learned my lesson the first time whenever I went to Houston, and it was supposed to be a voluntary. Well, the neighbor came out shooting and shot out my back window and everything. I've been shot twice. I got grazed in my knee.
Oh,
and
shit.
I got hit in my right shoulder.
When you got shot at, were you repoing somebody's car?
Yeah, I was actually doing it. Well, it was a voluntary, so they contacted me to come and pick it up. But
Well, why the hell are they shooting at you?
the neighbor was, I guess he was on some real bad drugs.
Oh, shit.
And he came out, like, the guy that I picked it up from was already telling me, like, you know, he's already been harassing everybody. Well, whenever I got there, I guess he saw what I was doing, and, like, yeah, my tow truck, when I drove it back, had 4 bullet holes in the driver door, and the back window was shattered.
Oh, my God.
And, they wanted to do, like, the insurance claim and stuff, but that was going to raise my stuff skyrocket because of the incident. And I was like, no, you know, I got a buddy that has a body shop, so he had it up and back and running within, like, a week and a half. So paid him I think it was like $3,700. He had everything back to normal. New window, new door, new paint on the door and everything. So
Jeez Louise, dude. So you've been, how many times have you, not during a show, but how many times have you encountered getting shot while being the tow truck driver?
So since I've been doing this since I was 24, I want to say about 7 times I encountered it. But
7
yeah,
times.
but the first time I actually got hit twice.
So okay.
Well, pretty much every time it hit the truck. Like it.
Oh, so they were shooting at you.
Yeah, it hit.
So you've been shot at 7 times?
Yeah, throughout my 3.5 years of doing it. Yeah, like.
Yeah, I mean, I want you to stop and say that out loud again. So you're 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You've been shot at 7 different times.
Yeah.
And you've been hit twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What does your wife think of all this?
Well, whenever I was first doing the repos, the first time I have ever got shot at, that's when I got hit twice, and she wanted me to get out of it right then and there. Yeah, she wanted me to get out of it. She was like, you know, we're going to sell the truck, and I was like, no, we're not. I said, I'm going to continue to do it.
Oh, Jesus.
So
you got life insurance for her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got all
I mean, no offense, dude. I mean, but let's just be blunt. Like, yeah, you got wife and the kids, right?
Oh yeah, I got two little.
I mean, just in fullness and fairness, close, so that I don't sound trite, I don't sound like an ass. I was a Marine for 8 years, so even though I was young, I still had like a life insurance policy in place while I was in the Marine Corps.
I didn't want to do the life policy and all that. The first, like, getting into it and stuff. But whenever I got hit those 2 times, I was like, you know what? Like,
you got to do it, dude.
Yeah, I got to do it. So I've been paying on it ever since that first incident. And
yeah, I mean, I had one while I was in the Marine Corps, you know, for my mom, and I wasn't even married at the time. No married, no kids, but I wanted to, you know, in case something happened, you know, that at least my mom would, you know, do well.
Yeah.
Like, die for my country and help my mom out. But
yeah, see,
and I mean, seriously, I know that sounds funny, but a lot of Marines, that's what we did. Is it's like, oh, at least if I'm gone, I can, you know, my mom can live a better life. But yeah, you just got to do that stuff, man. You got to have that in place. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No,
this is a riveting story, dude. So you've been shot at 7 times. You've been actually hit twice. So where'd you get hit? You said in the knee?
Yeah, I got grazed in my knee, and then I got hit in my right shoulder.
Shit, son.
Yeah. And
so I mean,
it was like, I didn't feel it until like I got out of the area and actually like calmed down my adrenaline and stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah. So you probably didn't feel shit.
Oh no, I didn't feel it at all. It felt like a bee sting at first, and then once everything like died down and stuff, and like I felt all the burningness and all that, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
My shirt was blue.
Yeah, once that adrenaline, all that adrenaline runs out, like the adrenaline just. I know what you're talking about, where the adrenaline's pumping. There were explosives going off, and I'm a machine gunner. You can still kind of see the burned skin there. It basically did a skin graft on my forearm, but that's different than a bullet. That adrenaline is just pumping through you, and so you don't feel anything until like an hour later.
Yeah. Yeah,
Damn.
and like the only thing I don't like now, the aftermath about it, is like when it's like real cold outside. Oh my gosh, like
You feel it?
oh yeah, it bothers me real bad. Like,
Yeah. Which one, your knee or your shoulder? Both
my
of them.
shoulder would start cramping up, my knee would start cramping up. It's
Yeah.
like even though my knee got grazed, I still have a little metal fragment.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it bothers me a lot.
I bet, dude. Holy moly. So, shot at 7 times, hit twice, and still going.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like a Navy SEAL, dude. You just keep on. You're in the wrong line of business, dude.
And it was weird how I got into it because I got kicked out when I was 16 years old.
You got kicked out of the house?
Yeah, when I was 16, so
Oh.
I was pretty much on my own.
You were a wild child?
Yeah, I was on my own for about till I started. Like I was living from friends' houses to relatives every now and then, and like when I met my wife, her mom took me in, and pretty much it's just been like that ever since. I just started getting a bond back with my mom.
Oh, that's good. So, yeah, so let me ask you a blunt question. Were they in the right or were you in the right at that time? Now that you've got 8 years to reflect on it.
No, they were in the right for kicking me out. I was a troublemaker whenever I was that age.
Yeah.
So I had to learn the hard way, and like whenever I started talking back to my mom, she was like, she didn't want to do it, which I totally understood, but she had to pretty much teach me a lesson, and from her doing that, I actually learned a lot.
And now you got kids.
Yeah, now I got kids, so I'm like, you know, I honestly, like the last time I spoke to her, I actually thanked her for doing it because now I'm the person that I am now.
Yeah.
Better mindset.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, better mindset and everything. Now I got my own thing going for me and stuff like that. So
that's awesome, dude. So you're back to talking with your parents again?
yeah, I'm real close to them now.
Oh, great.
Her and my dad,
Well, plus
so.
the grandkids
Oh,
help
yeah.
out a lot with that. I'm telling you what, there ain't no way in hell your mom is
See,
good.
I didn't know how my mom found out I was having my firstborn. And
I bet once she found that out, it was like
she ended up
she
at the
pushed you
hospital.
out of the way. She was like, "Yeah, whatever. Show me that baby."
Yeah, I was holding my little boy, and I happened to look up at the door, and she was standing there, and I was like I was in shock. I didn't even know how she found out. Well, my wife and her have been talking the whole entire time.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
So
Good on your wife, man.
Yeah, that brought me and my mom back together. Like,
Yeah, that'll do it, man. Those babies are miracles, man. Babies can bring, like, you could be separated for 25 years, not talk to each other, and you have a baby, and one of those individuals as a grandparent,
Oh yeah.
that all just goes right. 25 years can go down the tube in a second once that baby shows up.
Yep.
Those babies are miracles, man.
And like I told her, I said that's what changed my life around, was like her kicking me out and me actually having to learn who was actually there for me and
Yep.
who I actually called my friends and stuff like that, because I started seeing the difference.
Yeah. Well, maybe your mama kicking you out was one of the best things she could have done.
Yeah, and
Because were you feeling kind of enabled while you were at home? Yeah.
Yeah.
You felt like I could get away with this. I got a safe haven here,
See,
and then
that's exactly how I felt like.
Yeah.
And stuff. But yeah, it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
At a young age. And
No, I'm with you, man. That makes a lot of sense to me. And I'll tell you what, that had to be tough on your mama too. I mean, kudos to her, because you're kicking your baby, but you're trying to save your baby at the same time. Like, this is the person that you gave birth to 16 years ago, and so you're struggling. Imagine the struggle she had. Like, she's like every fiber in her body wants you to stay with her, right?
And like,
but she knows that if she doesn't, you might die.
And like you know how whenever you're on your iPhone, you can see where the bubbles pop up.
Yeah.
Every now and then when I'm on the messages, I have her name right there, and I would see the bubbles like she wanted to type something.
Yeah.
But then she would like delete it or whatever.
Oh damn! God, I feel for her, man.
Yeah, like
because she was probably wanting you to come home, but she knew that was the wrong thing to do.
Oh yeah, I was staying in Navasota at the time, so I was living like friends' houses or
couch surfing.
Yeah, couch surfing. Sometimes I'll sleep at the park right there by the city pool.
Oh damn!
Yeah, it was a lesson learned.
So you were on a bad.
Yeah.
Wait, do you mind me asking? I mean, we're on a road trip here together. Was it like, did you get in? Because you seem like a really, really good dude, and that's not something that's innate in you. Did you get in with the wrong crowd? Was it your friends?
Yeah. Like, I was doing.
You were doing everything. I was about to say, there's no way in hell you were only doing.
No, I was trying a little bit of everything. And I thought they were my friends, and then I actually started like seeing the bigger picture whenever I met my wife, and she would stop me from doing stuff.
Yeah.
And her and her mom actually moved me out to Conroe, away from the people, and that's what actually changed my life around and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, now that I look back at it, a lot of friends that I did have are like now in prison.
Yep,
or in
exactly.
jail and
Exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they got kids that they can't even see. Like one of my old friends, one of his little boys go to school with my other little boy, and I'll see like his ex-girlfriend, and she'll be like, like when she sees me, she'll be like, man, I'm glad you changed your life around and stuff. She said, I wish I could say the same for your friend. And, I was like, well, it takes people having to help you do it and actually open your eyes to actually help you change your life around, not people that are just going to tell you one thing and then do the total opposite about it.
Yeah. So you were fortunate. You had two women that were your mama and your wife, who were literally just doing hand-to-hand combat to keep you. She wasn't your wife at the time, I guess, but your wife did it. So you had two women doing hand-to-hand combat to keep your ass alive.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Isn't that something, man?
And it worked out perfect.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. And kudos to them, man. They deserve a lot. And kudos to you, man. That takes a lot of effort to turn your life around. And look at you now, man. You're gainfully employed, bitching about your taxes like the rest of us.
That's what. Yeah,
that is when the American dream is, when you can get to a point where you bitch about taxes.
That's the only part that I hate.
Yeah, see, there you go. You're living the American dream, Bubba.
Yeah.
Once you're bitching about taxes, you have you've gotten the American dream.
Yeah, I hate getting that paperwork and
Yeah.
years and stuff.
So do you work on I guess the way it works, you get 1099s, or you are you have your own like LLC type of thing?
Yeah, I got my LLC. and stuff.
Look at you, man.
Yeah.
Holy
the
moly.
LLC is not in my name, but it's in my wife's name.
Yeah.
But it has me on there also. But
That's smart.
so.
Yeah, you
we
want to
got
keep that in your wife's name. I mean, again, not to be too blunt, but yes, keep that in your
Yeah,
wife's
that's
name. For the way you have, from everything you've told me thus far, yeah, the more you can keep in your wife's name, probably the easier
See,
it will be.
because like
for her.
my trucks and stuff, they're in my name, but I told them to put her down like it's a co-signer type thing. So like if anything happens, I know that it pretty much goes.
Yeah, she
to
won't
her.
have to go through probate or anything like that. It'll just all be in
it
her
just
name.
makes it
Yeah,
easier
I
on
would
her.
keep as much as you possibly can in your wife's name, and just to be, you know, as much as she's done for you.
Yeah.
You can make it as easy for her as possible. Now, this is screwed up. We're sitting here talking about like, yeah, make it easy for her when you. But that's what we do as dudes, right?
Yeah.
As guys, we know we're going to go first. So part of our job is making our loved ones' lives as easy as possible when we croak.
Yeah, see, that's what I told her. I said, to be honest, like, I think I'm probably going to go way before you even go, because the type of stuff that I do and stuff like that.
Well, I hope you don't, but it's the statistics say
Yeah.
get life insurance and get everything in her name. That's what the statistics say. What I hope is that you live to be 90 years old with your decrepit knee and your decrepit shoulder, bitching about taxes and the cold weather, and sitting on a front porch with her. But for both of us, statistics were not on my side. Statistics are not on your side. Get on everything in your wife's name. You just got. There's times in a man's life where you just got to be honest with yourself and not wish cast. Wish casting would say, "Oh, I'm gonna live forever." Like, no, don't do that shit.
No.
Be blunt with yourself and look at the statistics. And I'm glad you're doing that, man. But I'm way more happy that you turned out the way you did. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was hard for me. It really was, because I was so used to that other lifestyle. Like, it took me a while to.
Was it just, or were you gangbanging too?
Yeah.
You gangbang all of it, the whole the whole kit and caboodle.
Like,
yeah.
See, it was hard for me to start doing what I was doing now, because like my jail record and what I was affiliated with and stuff like that. So whenever I went up there to get like my badges to do rotation and stuff,
that's probably tough.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Like,
did you were you only in county, or did you ever have to get put into the real system?
No, I was put in the real system for 2.5 years.
Oh shit, dude.
So
Huntsville, Beaumont?
No, right there in Hamilton unit.
Oh, okay.
In Sandy Point. I was there for 2.5 years.
Oh shit, dude.
I went in when I was 18 years old, got out whenever, I want to say probably like the middle of the year for whenever I hit 20. So
shit.
Yeah,
man.
It was
18 years old.
Yeah. I started off young.
Oh fuck. Don't tell me it was the worst case scenario.
That was an eye-opener for me. Like,
yeah.
And then I met my girlfriend and stuff like that. And,
yeah.
But yeah, it was hard for me, because whenever I went to go
you went into the state system.
I was in juvenile detention at 17 years old.
Okay, and then they let you out, and then unfortunately,
no, I was still in there, and then once I hit 18 years old, they sent me off to the Hamilton unit. Yeah. So.
Do you mind me asking? They hit you pretty hard as a juvie, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's pretty harsh. So
yeah, I went in 2 months before my birthday, so I went in.
Tell me to shut up if you want me to shut up. I mean, it's like that.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, why were they so harsh on you at that young of an age?
I went in for. I was facing one charge where my buddies and us, and the guy ended up getting shot. Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
And luckily he survived and stuff. And they did the fingerprints and all that, but I was there at the time.
See, that's your buddies, right?
Yeah, and I was like,
that'll tell you right there.
And so whenever I did get out, I met her, and I had it all tatted on my chest, and they had pictures of me. And whenever I went in there at the age of 24 to try to start my own thing, they gave me hell.
Oh, I'm almost surprised you were able to work your way through that.
Oh, it was hard.
I bet it was.
It was hard.
Shit. Hey, let me ask you a question. So you weren't in the federal system. You were in the state system, right?
Yeah, I was in the state system.
State system. How was the state like? And you went in at a young age. Holy shit, you were a baby, dude. So how did, like, when you went into the state system for 2.5 years, how did you personally decide to approach that? Because, and the reason I ask is, I mean, you can imagine, being an Uber driver. I've only been Ubering for a month, but you're my third dude. And by the way, it's amazing to me how all three of y'all have been such fucking cool dudes. But I've had 3 dudes that spent pretty significant time in prison, 2 in federal and 1 in state. So I'm kind of interested. Like, I kind of get a sense of what you got to do when you go into the federal system. But in the state system, like, tell me, I mean, we still got subject, like, what's day 1 like? Are you having to, like, figure out, all right, which section of the place do I go to?
Yeah, like, it was hard for me because...
Did anybody take you under the wing, or was it like, no, you just got to figure this shit out?
Yeah, whenever I got sent to Hamilton unit, my dad, he was actually in prison in the Huntsville unit.
Oh, Jesus.
In downtown Huntsville. And so the gang that I was running with were Texas Syndicates.
Okay.
So whenever...
That's Mexican gang?
Yeah, so whenever I went into the Hamilton unit, I guess he knew some people in there and they took me under their wing.
Oh, good.
But there were plenty of times where I had to show pretty much like what I was about.
Yeah, I mean, you had to.
Yeah, I've been jumped, I've been beat up, I fight people. I was walking up out my sleep one time with 3 dudes hitting me all at one time.
No shit. And you're like, how the hell did they get into your cell?
I was 18 years old, so...
How did they get into your cell?
Because whenever we, like, I don't know how they did it, but that's whenever I started figuring out, like, I guess when you got ties in there with guards.
Yeah.
Pretty much all you can do is, like,
man.
and they let you do whatever you want.
So, in that perspective, the state system is just like the federal system.
Yeah,
so the two guys I've met that both went to the federal system, they told me, they said, JC, yes, you can decide to kind of gang up, click up. He said there's 2 ways to go into prison. You can either look for protection.
See, when you go in there, it's totally different because, like, my wife, she's black. But whenever I went in there, like I told her, whenever I came out, I was like, don't think I'm racist or nothing. But whenever I went in there,
yeah, you have to.
I had to hang with people my color.
Yeah. Well, I would have to, my wife is Vietnamese. Like, literally, I've got, my wife is, like, looks nothing like me. But if I went to prison, I mean, that's what these 2 guys are like, dude, it doesn't matter, man. Let's say I screwed up bad. Like, I got drunk as Cooter Brown and I plowed into a, right? Because that happens. People go to prison for that, right? And so that happens, and I go in, and here I am with a Vietnamese wife on the outside. Well, there's a second round. You obviously can talk. You got a financial background. You need to be resourceful as shit.
Yeah. See, and I learned that a lot up in there. Like, where I was locked up, the guys that I got locked up with are Africans, Americans, and, like, I was fighting them.
Yeah.
Because, like, it bothered me because, like, I'd known them, I grew up with them. But in there, it's a
But in that system, they strip
like,
you everything, right?
But once we got out, it was like, you know...
Y'all were back to being boys.
It was just normal. But when we're in there, like...
You had to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and I seen guys go in there for, like, predator type stuff.
Oh, shit. Now, those guys get chewed up in there, don't they?
Oh, man. I seen...
Like, they check... That's another thing I've heard, is they check you... Like, one of the first things they'll do is check your paperwork.
Man, I don't even know how they got a hold of my paperwork. And whenever I went in there, like... I went in there, I was in there for about a day and a half, and they already knew what I was there for. And
So
I was like, gee...
And this is the inmates.
Yeah, like... Word gets around quick up in there.
Right. So you were good to go, at least. They knew you were a baby. That you were... Yeah, you're young. But you were in there for something, like, right down the middle of the fairway. So you didn't hit a woman. You didn't... So you should have been at least pretty good. That's what I've heard, is the folks that probably have the hardest time are the ones that obviously... But sometimes, like, hitting women, like hitting grandmas.
Man, they get it worse too up in there too. The ones that beat women and stuff.
Yeah.
But the first month was hard for me because, like, I had to show myself. So
yeah. So you got to do stuff you don't even want to do.
Like, whenever I walked up to the window for the first time to see my brother, man, my face, like, I had a black eye, my lip was busted.
Geez.
Like, and he was sitting there crying. I told him, I said, man, don't cry. Like,
just doing what I got to do.
It's a different ball game in here than what it is in the streets.
That sucks, man. That just sucks.
Yeah, it was
Well, now that you explained all that, I'm like, okay, well, you've been shot at 7 times. I'm like, that may be easy street for you.
Yeah,
at least you're free.
It really didn't faze me.
Yeah.
But, like, being in there and almost being stabbed multiple times, and just being that young, like, you know, it puts fear in your heart. It really does.
Oh, one other thing I was going to say that I forgot that both those guys told me. It's like, yeah, you're asking about guys clicking up, ganging up, and whatever. But he's like, just before, like, here's the thing that trumps all that. The biggest gang in that place are the corrections officers.
That's exactly what
it's like. They are. You can think you're going to get protected by, you know, clicking up with the. That's only going to take you so far, because the biggest, baddest gang in every prison are the damn corrections officers, the guards.
See, the worst thing I seen with a correction officer was, it was 2 of them, and they there was a guy in there, but, like, he wasn't all there. He was, like, kind of mentally off or whatever.
Yeah.
And they lured him into, like, a corner, and he was and they walked probably, like, I want to say probably about 12 feet away from him, and all you could see was, like, 6 guys just beating the smack out of that dude. And they okay, I understand what he went in there for, but they were pretty much just, like, standing there just watching everything. And
Man, God
Yeah,
damn.
it was rough being 18 and 19 years old.
Jesus Christ. I couldn't even imagine, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
I'm not
horrible.
saying it to be, but man, you're a baby when you're 18.
Yeah, sometimes I couldn't even sleep. Like, I would just sit there and just look up at the ceiling. Like, I couldn't get no sleep. But once I started getting more comfortable and I was hanging with the people I was hanging with, like...
How long did it take you to get comfortable?
It took me a while. It took me probably 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months, damn.
Yeah,
and
like,
then
I wasn't even making phone calls. Like, I didn't want my people knowing, like, what I was going through in there and stuff.
You were just keeping it all inside.
Yeah,
like you were suffering with indignity.
Yeah,
inside yourself and just keeping it all.
Because whenever I was in the streets, I didn't care. Like, I would fight, do whatever I had to do, but in there it's like it's a different type of feeling in that place. It really is.
I got you. Golly, man. Whew. Lord have mercy. You're so young, 24 years old, and life has already given you so damn much.
Yeah, a lot. And like, whenever I was there, they were trying to send me out there towards they were actually trying to transfer me when I was in my last year to Jasper or Palisota.
Yeah.
Out there.
Ooh, Jasper, man.
And I told them, I was
like the pea farm.
Man, and I told them, I was like, man, y'all trying to restart everything that I already had to go through just to be there for a year.
Yeah.
I was like, man, just let me just stay here. And
yeah. Did they let you stay there?
Yeah. They like, it took a while, but you know, I had to steadily write letters and stuff like that.
Why did they do that? Why do they switch people around? Because
I guess
they don't want y'all, like, they're trying to break the cliques up as much as possible.
That's what they do. But like, what they don't know is when they transfer you, they don't know like the life danger that they're putting you through, because you gotta click back up and you gotta do. You gotta
go through all that. You gotta. It's like sweat equity all over again. Yeah. So like, all you've done to, for lack of a better term, earn that sweat equity in the yard, you lose all of it.
You lose everything.
You lose all. You got to do it all over again in another spot.
It's horrible. It really is.
Damn. Jesus Christ, dude.
Like whenever I got out, my brother was trying to go that same route, and like I told him,
I'm glad you stopped him.
I said, dude, you're not ready for it. I said, you saw how my face looked the first month of being in there, like.
Yeah. Well, some guys probably just, I mean, it's going to chew them up, right? Emotionally, they're just not going to be able to, like something you were able to handle and keep inside, just go through those first 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
That would destroy a lot of men.
You're trying to sleep with like a broken rib.
Oh,
it's horrible. Like, you're laying on your back trying to breathe, and like every deep breath you took, it was just painful.
So how does that work? I mean, like, so I get the whole concept of needing to show out. Like, you need to show what you're about, because if you don't, it's like, it's like
they'll eat you alive.
They'll eat you alive.
Oh, yeah.
You'll just get eaten alive. But like, how do you know? Does somebody tell you? Like, does somebody take you under the wing and like, hey, dude, you need to do X, Y, and Z in the next 3 or 4 days, or these motherfuckers are gonna chew you up? Or is it something you just have to figure out on your own?
Yeah, the guy that took me under his wing was my dad's real close friend.
Okay.
They transferred him down there.
So you did kind of luck out that you had some of your dad's friends were in there.
So he took me under his wing, but he told me, he was like, there's some stuff I can't help you with, and there's some stuff that you're going to show what you're about. And, you know, so he was actually my bunkmate. So he kept telling me, you know, you can sleep, you know, I'm not gonna let them come in here and bother you and stuff. But, you know, with my mindset, I was like, nah. So like, whenever I did have that broken rib, he wrapped it up and everything, because the guards weren't doing nothing. They like, I would ask for like pain meds and stuff, and they would just like, oh no, they'll send me to the medic and stuff, and they don't help you worth of nothing there.
Jesus, dude.
So like, he would have like pain pills and stuff, and I would pop a pain pill and he'll help a little bit to get a little bit of sleep and stuff, but
at the end of the day, you got a broken damn rib.
Oh yeah, it took me probably about 6 months to actually Yeah, it was about like 6.5 months for them to actually see that I'm not gonna back down on nothing. And I done fought whites, blacks, Asians. Like it took a lot to have to show myself and stuff.
Jesus.
At that young of an age.
So it's that so is it completely 100% based on race?
Yeah, and they had me in a mixture of everything, like in one pod with a mixture of all different type of races.
Jeez. But so in essence, what you're saying is yeah, it's that brutal. Like you literally, no matter, I don't care where you came from, who your friends were, you have to click up by race when you go into the state system.
Yeah.
So and, Mexicans got to go with Mexicans, whites got to go with whites, blacks got to go with blacks, Asians got to go with Asians.
It was horrible because like my buddies were in there and like I couldn't.
And they're black.
Yeah, I couldn't even socialize with them like I did in the streets. Like I couldn't do it, or else I knew what was going to happen. Because one of my buddies came up and sat down at the table with me, and I kept telling him, "Hey man, like, move around, go sit at your table."
Yeah.
Well, he was like, "Man, I'm not scared," and this and that. They sent him to the actual hospital. They beat him so bad.
Oh Jesus!
And that ate me up. I was like, man.
I'm surprised
I wanted to help him so bad, but
I'm surprised his own folks let him do that.
Exactly.
Like, why didn't they say, like, dude, you can't do that?
He didn't have no one to take him under his wing.
Oh, so he hadn't clicked up yet.
Yeah, and so like when that happened, I stood up. Like I wanted to do something, but my dad's friend held me by my chest and was like, that's not the right thing to do. And so, like, he said, man, just walk off. Like, I know.
It sucks.
And when we got to the cell, he was like, I know it hurt you, man, but you just got to realize, like, this ain't jail. It's not county.
Yeah.
Like, county's way different because you can socialize with any. So, like, man, you could talk to anybody in there, but.
Yeah. How was the food in
it was horrible.
Was it just always horrible?
Man, commissary, my dad, I don't know how he was doing it, but he was putting like $200-300 on my commissary, and like I would stock up, and I learned like commissary is your biggest thing in there. So like you can get protection off of commissary just like off 4 or 5 noodles. And
just like ramen noodles.
Yeah,
just the
like
shit that college kids pay 99 cents for.
Yeah, you can give that to somebody and they'll protect you for like a whole week.
That's crazy.
And
dude, that's like,
I learned how to make a lot of stuff like brownies, sweets, all types of stuff up in there.
Just from stuff in the commissary.
Yeah, like beef jerky with noodles and stuff.
But the cafeteria food's just
No,
ass.
that was horrible. Yeah, it was cold.
Did they do that on purpose?
I took it as if they did.
It was that bad?
Yeah. Like one time I was about to eat my food and there was a roach in it.
Oh, Jesus.
And my bunkmate ended up giving me some noodles with beef jerky and stuff, and that's whenever I started like, I don't know how, but my dad got in contact with me somehow there, and he actually told me like what to, because they gave me a little.
Oh, wow.
My brother.
Yeah.
And stuff, because it was, and I was contacting my dad through that, and I don't know how he was making ends meet, but every time I looked at
he was getting like $200 or $300 on your commissary
like
every
time
month.
I checked my commissary once a week or every 2 weeks, I was having like $200-300 on there out of nowhere.
Well, that, man, still though, that's. Did he come to the right spot?
Yeah, this is the place.
Okay, is it gonna? It's not. Yeah, I guess. What's it gonna do? Oh, it's trying to back up into a spot. Where do you want me to drop you off, bud?
Oh, you can drop me off right here.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, it has been. Look, I want you to know, it drove us all the way from your house to here with no nothing, no interventions, man, zero.
That's nice.
My man, it's been so good talking to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Just hit that top button and then, but also hit the button and then push out with your arm at the same time. There you go.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Nice.
All right, man. Dude, it's been so nice talking to you, brother. I learned a lot from you, man.
Yes, sir.
And keep up the great work, dude.
Yes, sir. You have a good night.
You too, brother.